Live on StreamYard? Yes. All right. So we are live on Instagram. We are live on all of our outlets on StreamYard. Y'all, I'm back. I am back from almost dead. I know I was gone much longer than I expected to be, but I am back. And today we are starting or restarted with a bang. We're going to have a big discussion today. I really want y'all to participate in this discussion of whether Diddy, after this verdict, what do we think about his future in terms of business going forward now that this verdict has come through? Like, is he going to be able to thrive? Things like that. So we're going to have that discussion a little bit later in the show, but I want to give I want to give y'all some time to get your thoughts together about that. Okay, so whether you are a Diddy fan or not, and you want to be on the live broadcast this evening, Toby, I'm working. Tell your friends who are interested in the story. Hey, Natural Nose. Hey, your girl is back. Okay, your girl was sick. Now I'm better. Okay. All right. So our first story of the evening. That is enough of me pontificating with you guys. So Instagram, now that I know how to put these pictures up for y'all, is over. Okay. So who can tell me who this man is in? Yeah, nobody will ever look at Diddy the same. Who can tell me who this man is in the photo? Share screen window. There we go. Okay. Around noonish. I agree with you. But some people don't. I have a poll up in the stories right now about that. So if you don't recognize this person, this is Dr. Phil McGraw. Do we remember the Dr. Phil? Yes, Dr. Phil, the one who had the Catch Me Outside girl on his show multiple times, who's now known as Bad Baby, whatever she called herself. Mama's making money off of being a nuisance. Anyway, despite the topics of Dr. Phil's talk show, when he was at his height, Dr. Phil is actually a very conservative person politically. He went to the Trump rallies and actually spoke in favor of Trump. And he's not only conservative in his politics, he is also conservative in his business dealings, right? Yes, Oprah did introduce us to Dr. Phil, which is why I'm very, I was really kind of hurt that Dr. Phil turned out that way because, sir, a Black woman gave you your shot. And here you are stumping for a man who is just spewing hate. You are a DEI hire, Dr. Phil. Anyway, so has anybody heard of the Trinity Broadcasting Network, otherwise known as TBN? If you don't, TBN, it is a religious television network. My mama used to watch it. It's not her bag anymore. TBN is one of the most popular religious broadcasting companies that are out there, and Dr. Phil actually inked a deal with them some time ago. So a few years ago, Dr. Phil, he went into that he and Trinity Broadcasting had a contract. They created something called Merit Street Media. Okay, and this was supposed to be a project where Dr. Phil was going to produce shows, new episodes of the Dr. Phil show for TBN. Now, let's put a pause in that right now. When I think of Dr. Phil, again, I think of those shows where he had people on there like Bad Baby. So what kind of shows were you going to be producing for TBN, right? Anyway, so they've got this deal. Dr. Phil is supposed to produce, these shows for TVN. But fast forward, Dr. Phil is now suing the Trinity Broadcasting Network, this Christian television network, as well as filing for bankruptcy. Dr. Phil said that everything Trinity Broadcasting Network said they were going to do, they didn't do any of it. They were supposed to distribute and produce the shows and get them out there. And Dr. Phil is saying they didn't do any of that. So much so that apparently Merritt Street Media is right now more than $100 million in debt. Okay. So Dr. Phil got in bed with the church network, and the church network, I guess, didn't do their job. And now Dr. Phil wants the debts paid, right? So this is why it's important for you to have written contracts, right? So now Dr. Phil's attorneys and TBN's attorneys, or the Trinity Broadcasting Network, they're going to have to go over this contract, and see what clauses, if any, were breached. And did Dr. Phil actually fulfill his not yet, Miss Whitney. Did Dr. Phil actually fulfill his requirements that TBN needed for to produce these shows for him, right? Y'all, I want y'all to give my girl Miss Whitney a follow. She is an up and coming in the DC political scene, just overall community engagement. She is a really good person to follow for some information. But yes, so Dr. Phil and TBN, they unless they settle beforehand, they're going to have to it's going to be the battle of the contracts. And what does this clause mean? And did you actually fulfill what you are supposed to do? So this is why I tell you, it doesn't matter who go in business. It could be your pastor, your wife, your child, your doctor, whoever it is. You need a written contract so everybody knows what is expected of them. Okay. All right, so let me remove this here. Now, speaking of settlements, okay? Now, I know a lot of you guys may have forgotten about this story, but just a couple of years ago, there was a big crypto scandal that was happening with a company called FTX, right? They had everybody advertising for them. Tom Brady, what's that girl's name? Taylor Swift, Shaquille O'Neal. They had a bunch of celebrities promoting this cryptocurrency so that people could invest in it, right? And the company was headed by this guy, Sam Bankman-Fried. Now, Sam, he is currently serving time in the penitentiary for financial fraud and all sorts of things, because none of the things they promised happened, right? But not only is the owner of the company sued and arrested and
all that stuff, the people who promoted this cryptocurrency, so the celebrities that got to film and say, hey, you should invest in this, they were sued also. And one of them, namely Shaquille O'Neal, he just recently had to settle his deceptive for deceptive practices. He had to settle for $1.8 million. Okay, so because Shaquille O'Neal promoted a product that ended up being fraudulent, Shaquille O'Neal was also held at fault to some extent, because as a celebrity, as a person of influence, you can't just go promoting anything, because people are going to buy it off of, your good name. So that is just a word to the wise for all of you. If you're going to promote a product, make sure it's a product what it is, what it does, and how it works, right? And two, if you're going to hire someone to represent your product, make sure that they understand what they're talking about too, and make sure it's the right person that you want to represent your brand. Okay. Now, for those of you out there who are watching, do you think that the celebrities who were paid to promote FTX, do you think that they should have been sued as well? Or was it just not their fault? They were just, cashing a check. Do you think that it is a good policy to hold celebrities at fault for the things that they that they promote? So nobody else kills. Listen, I feel like Shaquille O'Neal has never met a what you call that, an endorsement that he didn't like. If they got the check, he gonna do it. I be seeing him for that the General's insurance. He's got Papa John's. He's got Gold Bond. What don't he have? Like, Shaquille O'Neal will endorse a postage stamp, okay? But still, as a person, if this is how you're making your money endorsing products, it's really important that you investigate these or have your team do it, like Ram Nunish said, and make sure that the product that you are promoting is in fact legitimate and has some teeth. All right. So I'm sure, I don't think Shaquille O'Neal is going to be promoting any more cryptocurrency after this. But we'll see. Okay. Do we have any WNBA fans in the house? WNBA fans, step forward and tell me, who is this person? Come on, yo. WNBA fans, my lovelies, who is this person on the screen? Ron Noonan said, I think they should be held accountable because some people will buy anything they promote. Right. A lot of people aren't going to do a lot of research. They're just going to say, oh, my favorite celebrity is promoting it. Okay, I'm going to get it, right? Okay. So who is this person who I have put up right now? Can you tell me? If you don't know, you should. It is the Bayou Barbie herself, Angel Reese. She is one of the rising, or one of the biggest stars in the WNBA right now. I always see her name in the headline. She's always doing something. Thank you, Ron Nunish, Angel Reese, right? And Angel Reese, I remember there was something I saw online where they quoted her, and she was like, the WNBA does not pay my bills. She has a lot of endorsements and businesses that she invests in to maintain her lifestyle. And part of that is securing her intellectual property, right? So apparently, at recent games, people in the stands have been taunting Angel Reese when she catches after missing a shot. What that's usually called a rebound. Apparently, they've been calling them knee bounds. I don't know what the issue is. Basketball people, please let me know, because I don't get why they would be teasing her about catching a rebound. Isn't that a good thing? But again, I don't know basketball. Anyway, so Angel Reese said, oh, you guys think you're going to make fun of me with that name? She said, no, I'm going to make money with it, okay? So Angel Reese, she has filed a trademark for the term knee bounds, okay? So she's probably going to come out with merch that you can purchase, get you a cute little t-shirt or a sweatshirt, maybe a cap, right? But she is taking what could have been a negative and turning it into a positive. She is also in the process of trademarking Reese Bound, so her last name plus the words bound, I guess, just like rebound. But this is how you turn a negative into a positive. There is a media personality who I follow, and they are constantly being attacked online for some reason or another. And anytime one of their haters, comes up with a new name, they take the name, they trademark it, and they start selling merch. Okay, if any of you guys are fans of T.S. Madison, you know, hey Aisha Butler, realtor, guys, if you are if you got military family who's looking to relocate, go help my girl, go hit up my girl Aisha Butler. Okay, hi Mo Soulshine. So, yes. So Angel Reese, she is taking what could have been a negative. These fans in the stands trying to tease her with the word rebounds, as she's on the court, and she's like, okay, well, I'm a trademark it and I'm gonna make money off of it. Okay, and I think that's very smart. So good luck to her. And I love the TS girl. When she was when she came to Baltimore, I went to the show. It was the day before my birthday. Yeah, so good luck to Angel Reese. I wish her much success, and I love that these young athletes, they're able to really capitalize on their popularity, especially in school now that you can get these NIL deals, these name, image, and likeness deals. Like, this is how Angel Reese can support her lifestyle. This is real. Like, this is why these NIL contracts, being able to make money from your face while in college, this is why this is important. So these kids aren't out here broke making these institution millions and not know how to manage their own money. So you go ahead, Angel Reese. Okay, let me remove that. Okay, now we are getting to, okay, so I have a discussion that I want to have with y'all tonight. Now, we have all seen Whitney, you still here? Whitney, if you're here, wave a hand. We have all seen, the Diddy stuff that's happening. We've seen the verdict. Now, listen, I know that Diddy's not going to get totally canceled. Y'all haven't even totally canceled R. Kelly, which I'm still, okay, Miss Whitney, I'm going to bring you on momentarily. Actually, can I bring you on? Let me know. Share screen. Okay. Now, I talked to you guys a lot about your brand and preserving your brand, and making sure that, you stay on the up and up, right? And prior to this, all of this stuff in the courts, Diddy was the face of so many brands. Hey, Miss Whitney, let me just finish giving people the background. Whitney's incognito right now. She had to give her 2 cents because that's her man. Okay. But so Diddy was the face of Ciroc. He had Sean John. I forget whatever, but there were many, many brands that Diddy was not only invested in, but he was the spokesperson. And when all of these lawsuits started coming out, can you turn off your mic for a second, Whitney, till you part? Thank you. And when all of these lawsuits started coming out, Diddy quickly had to give all of this up. He had to remove himself from the board of his own companies, right? Because there was just too much scrutiny. So now that we've gone through the whole hoopla of the trial and seeing all those videos and hearing the testimony, and now we've got the verdicts. He was found guilty on some, he was found not guilty on others. But now, yes, he still has to be sentenced. We don't know what the sentence is going to look like, but let's move forward to after the sentence when Diddy is, for lack of a better term, free and clear. Do we think that Diddy can still have, a robust business life after this trial? Is he going to be able to be the spokesperson of a brand? Now, I don't feel like Diddy is totally broke. I'm sure he has money to invest, but one of the big things that gave Diddy clout, one of the big things that brought him in checks, was being the face of brand. So now, after this verdict and the things that people saw in the courtroom, the videos that we saw as the public, the stories that we heard, do we think that Diddy will ever be able to be as on top as he was prior to all of this happening? I personally say no, because what kind of large brand is going to want someone who has these horrific stories about them going around, whether you want to believe them or not? But that is my opinion. I don't think he has a life in business, but I would like someone who maybe has a different perspective to let me know, how do you think Diddy can come back from this? Do you think that the brands are going to welcome him back with open arms? When you want to talk your mind, give us your opinion. I would really love to hear it.
Hello, everybody. I'm currently still in the car, so I can't really show my face. But I wanted to say before I go on, these are my personal opinions about Diddy, and I want to give like a little backstory if I can, Natalie.
Go ahead.
About Diddy. Okay, so I'm in high school. I graduated at McKinley Technology High School. And to enter into the school, they asked us who is one person that you would like to invite for an interview or over to your house. And I chose Diddy.
Okay.
And this time, I think I was in 10th grade. So I said, I'm choosing Diddy, and I'm going to cook some spaghetti. And they said, why? And so I told them because his brain, at the time I used the word brain, was like no other. He knew how to strategize and make people be the buy-in of different things. So I think, going back to what you said earlier about Shaquille O'Neal, that is Shaquille O'Neal's strategy right now to be different brands, because people are not buying in to necessarily Shaq, but his thinking capacity. Others.
I'm sorry, I missed the last thing you said.
Okay.
What'd you say?
Did you hear what I said?
I didn't hear the last sentence.
I said that he's doing the same thing. Like, he is someone who is doing the same thing as Shaquille O'Neal. Now, I don't promote, because I see somebody say I don't promote anything to promote it respectively. I don't promote any of the violence or the sexual things that he's done to women, because I'm pretty sure that's true, but who am I to judge or to know that is true? But I think that person I know that person like the fact that he can strategize and get to the people, and he knows what they want, and he used that musically, he used that business-wise, and he used it personally. And so persons love how he was, and that's the buy-in. So yes, he can come back. He can come back. That viral clip that he's like, I'm a savage, I get everything I want. People bought into that, and many people do believe that. And then you have the business, like, I'm unstoppable, I'm not going anywhere. People buy into that. And then you have the different brands. And if you know a person buy in with community relationships, you're so he can definitely come back.
So you think he still has the same level of community buy-in that he had prior to this?
Yes, way better than R. Kelly, because yes, way better than R. Kelly. I'm just going to say that. R. Kelly, atrocious. Diddy, atrocious when it comes to the women or whatever he was doing. But he definitely has a better buy-in. And the people of that generation really love that era. Okay. So they're going to support him. Okay.
All right. Okay. Is there anything else you want to add before you sign off?
No, I'm going to stick around. Okay. I just wanted to let you know that, because...
No, thank you. Thank you. I want to see if anybody else wants to come up and give their 2 cents. Okay. Yes, but thank you for that, because, that's not my perspective. So hearing that from you, lets me know, what are the opinions that are going on out there. So thank you very much for agreeing to come on.
Yes, and I want to keep everybody in mind that that's a different era of hip hop, and we don't have that. And the people who are now in their 40s and on up want that because of what we're giving right now. So they're going to buy in. They're going to buy it, and I know they will.
Okay,
but we'll see.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. You got to load me off, though, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to do this, girl. Somebody help us.
If I do it, then it'll cut me off.
Let's see. No, hold up. Can anybody tell me how to get somebody off here, please? Somebody watching?
I'm gonna close out and come back in.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So, all right. So you guys heard Whitney's opinion. Ron Nunes said, I can't support anything that he's promoting respectfully. I mean, I feel the same way. I was never really like a Diddy stan, you know. If Ciroc was there, I would, you know, drink it, but I was not going out to buy Ciroc because Diddy was repping Ciroc, you know, and Sean John was my thing. I liked Danity Kane and some Day 26. But in terms of what Whitney was saying in terms of community, and especially the generation that, you know, that you can't see me. Hold on. How about now? Can you see me? Hold up. Somebody, I said you can see me. Can you see me now? Let me know. I could put up a picture of myself. But if you can't see me, can you hear me? You cannot see me. Okay. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay, let me see if this will work. Can you see me now in the corner with Diddy? Let me know if you can see me in the corner with Diddy. Can you see the Diddy picture? I'm sorry, StreamYard. If you can see the Diddy picture, let me know. Okay. All right. I'm gonna X out and come back in on Instagram, okay? I'm gonna X out and come back in. So don't go nowhere. I'm coming right back. Okay. All right. Okay, we are back up on Instagram. I'm going to give y'all a couple minutes to come in. All right. So we have been I'm going to let y'all do your Diddy thing. Hey Aisha. Hey Mosa. Thank y'all for coming back. Thank you for coming back. Thank you, Ron Nunes, for coming back. All right. Thanks, guys. Okay, so let's get back to this discussion, right? Red point, you drank the alcohol. Why? Because it was promoted well. I drank it because it was there, right? Yes, people bought Ciroc. Ciroc was the it vodka. I will say that. People were repping it like it was no other. And if it was there, yes, I'll drink it. But yes, I say it's a very popular vodka. But Whitney brought up a really important point. Diddy's era was an important era for people of my age. I'm 44. Hey, 44, right? Diddy was Diddy and all that. That was the soundtrack of my teenage years and my 20s. Now, I wasn't necessarily, you know, a Diddy stan, but those who were, they might say, you know, this is the guy, he was the soundtrack to my youth. I can't let it go. This one is the same as Julio being a trend on TikTok. Yes. So for those of you, so those of you listening, whether you grew up in this era, whether this was the soundtrack of your youth or not, you know, how do you feel about Diddy being able to come back? Ron Nunes said she's 43, so she gets it, right? So like for me, right? Okay. So let's take R. Kelly. I can't listen to an R. Kelly song. If an R. Kelly song comes on, I will ask somebody to change it or I will leave the room because I just think he's disgusting. I can't stand his music. But I will say that if a Diddy song comes on, I'm not necessarily going to ask you to turn it off, right? So now that might not be much for some, but that's a big step to where this one person, I won't even, I don't even want them in my presence, but I will allow Diddy to be played in my presence, right? So, and there are those who like Diddy way more than I do. And Diddy did, I guess if you have to, you rank it in terms of what he did, ranking it next to R. Kelly's, it's not nearly as disgusting. So maybe he does have what it takes to come back. Miss Whitney said the world moves by culture and generations. And she was right that Diddy knows how to get people drawn in. We watched Making the Band. We listened to Dirty Money. We tried to give a chance to the many, 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 many groups that he signed to Bad Boy. So Mo Soulshine said, agree. Some of the Bad Boys I'll still listen to. Okay. Whitney said, example, Soulja Boy is for her age. Okay. So Miss Whitney's a few years younger than we are. So I mean, I think it is a toss-up. I am interested to see whether he is going to be the front face of business. Now, I have no doubt that people are still going to hire him to consult, to put things together. But one of the things that I noticed about Diddy was Diddy loved being in the limelight. Diddy loved being in everybody's face. He loved his face being everywhere. And I'm wondering, are you going to be able to be everywhere like you were before after this? For me, it's a no. Because, I invite you to no women's empowerment, nothing. I'm not giving you no NAACP Image Award. But hey, that's me. We spent a long time on that story. All right. Okay, next story that we are talking about. How many of y'all are out here using AI? In a yoga class, they played R. Kelly. People left. You know what? Good for them. Good for them. Miss Whitney said he won't, but if he learned impact, he can. Okay. Most said in a yoga class, they played R. Kelly. People left. Power to the people. All right, so I'm putting up this next picture. I want y'all to tell me something, okay? Which of these faces, okay, which of these faces do you think is AI? There are 9 faces up here. Which of them do you think was made using AI? Hi, Nuke Log 4. Round Nuna said AI. Girl, I am so conflicted with AI. Miss Whitney said the bottom row. Mo Soulshine said, I'm trying to learn AI. Girl, Chat GPT, I'm just trying to ease into Chat GPT. Y'all know I'm a child of the Terminator movies. Sarah Connor told us to beware of Skynet, and here we are just handing the keys over, right? Okay, so we have bottom row. Someone said bottom right. I have surprised you guys. All of these faces were made with AI. Every single one of these. Okay. So AI is out here, the cat is out of the bag. We can't put it back, right? But there are a lot of issues people are having with the access that AI has to our information, right? I remember a story I did last summer. I was telling y'all how part of the reason why the actors were striking was because a lot of the big movie houses wanted to wanted to be able to take their images so they could do AI versions, and they only wanted to pay them like $250 and they get to keep it for life, right? So that was one of the things why the actors were protested, right? So we know that AI can provide us some really realistic looking pictures, and especially if we are feeding our information into it. So one country is trying to protect its citizens and the rights that they have to their face, okay? So the country of Denmark. Denmark, it's around like, Norway, them Slavic countries. They excuse me. They are about to pass a law that is going to let all of the Danish citizens, they're going to be able to copyright their voice and their face against AI deepfakes. So if Sven is, going along the internet and sees someone that looks like him promoting a product that he doesn't like, he's going to have recourse within the Danish government to go and sue that company, because AI is getting so sophisticated that we have to do something to kind of, stem the tide and keep our information, keep our faces to ourselves, right? So looking at these 9 photos that we know were created strictly from AI, do we think that Round Noonie said, I've turned all facial recognition off on my device. I didn't think of that, but I don't want people getting in my phone, so I can't do that. But do we think that we could implement something like that in the United States? Denmark is a pretty small country. Do we think? Hold on. Let me look this up. How many citizens in U.S.? United States has about 342 million people. Do you think that we would be able to copyright all 342 million of these faces and protect them against AI? What are we going to do, guys? What are we going to do? AI is here. Ain't nothing we could do about it. But how are you planning to protect your assets from being, used in a way that you don't like? Round Nunes said she's turned off facial recognition on all her devices. What about your photos on social media? When you have a Facebook account or a social media account, they say that they can use your pictures, right? If they want to do stuff, they essentially have license to use your pictures. So if you're doing this on Facebook, you're uploading photos there and to Instagram and to TikTok, and we know that AI is all over there. How are we going to protect our physical faces? How are we going to protect our brand, for lack of a better term? What can we do? Denmark is trying to copyright. I don't even know how many people Denmark have. Hold on. How many citizens in Denmark? Denmark has about 6 million people. So we have about almost 6 times the number of people that Denmark has, right? Is there anything else that you guys are doing to try to stem the tide of AI using your stuff? Authors are suing. People who write stuff, make books, they are suing all over the world because they do not want their copyrighted items being used to teach AI. Because in order for AI to be able to learn and to grow, it needs information, right? And if you have AI that is creating things, right? Creating faces, creating whole human beings, how are we going to keep our photos that we gave away license to when we signed up for these social media accounts? How are we going to account for that? I know it's scary, but it's something that we have to think about, right? You have to think about your kids, right? Those of you who have children, especially if your children, are not at an age where they're independent, where they might be 16 or under. They're doing, I don't know what the kids do, video games and whatever, the Snapchats and whatever they do. And there's AI in there recording your children. And you can't keep them from the internet. So what are some things we can do, or is there anything that we can do to stem the tide of AI using all our stuff? Y'all let me know, okay? StreamYard, let me go over here and see. Okay. All right. Let me remove this. Okay. Did I scare y'all? Y'all got real quiet. You guys got really, really quiet. Okay. Next story that we are talking about. Let's talk about something a little bit happier. Digital, and I watch so many movies about that round noonish that I believe it's true. People think I'm crazy, but I feel like all those movies that we see about phones, that was them preparing us. Okay. Everything's used in a nefarious way on Soulshine. Whoo! Okay. Next thing that we are talking about. All right. How many of y'all Costco? Do we have Costco girlies, Costco fellas here? Listen, I love me a good trip to Costco, okay? Hi, Dr. Obed. Let me close this off. Costco, 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 Costco. Yes, right? Okay. Now, we all know we can get pretty much anything we need at a Costco, right? Y'all wave hi to my PhD cousin, Dr. Obed. We all know we can get pretty much whatever we need at Costco. Food, furniture, including clothing, right? And Costco, no, you're not going to get, the most fashionable things, but they give you a good array of basics. You can get sweaters, pants, sweatpants, and stuff like that, right? Well, Lululemon is currently suing Costco because they said that Costco copied their brand of athletic wear. Now, Lululemon sells leggings and sweaters, okay, and tank tops. I don't know how many ways you can make some leggings and sweaters and tank tops, that isn't infringing. But if you don't know Lululemon's price point, Lululemon, a sweater at Lululemon is probably going to run you about $118, whereas you could probably get something similar at Costco for maybe $10 or $15, right? So Lululemon is saying that Costco copied the stitching, the very unique stitching that they use for their athletic wear. Now, I've told you guys several times, it is very, very hard to preserve, to claim intellectual property in the fashion industry because they are considered functional, right? A red dress is a red dress is a red dress in the eyes of the law. Where the difference comes in is in, maybe the quality or the label and things like that. Usually the ones that stand out are the ones who create their own patterns, like Louis Vuitton, like Gucci, like any of the other brands that we know that you recognize just from looking at it. But unless I'm way up next to somebody because of the way Lululemon does their branding, I'm not going to necessarily know a pair of Lululemon leggings from a pair of Costco leggings, right? So anybody watching, does anybody here own a piece of Lululemon clothing, whether you purchased it at Lululemon or not, maybe you got it at Ross or you're on sale at Macy's, but does anybody here watching, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching the replay, if you own Lululemon clothing, please give me in on the comments. Round Nooner said, "Oh, Lulu got extremely detailed with their lawsuit." Yes, girl. They said, "Look, you see this stitching on the back of these pants? This is the same stitching that we use." But the average person shopping for athletic wear, do you think that they are getting all up in the stitching like Lululemon? Do you think that, right? Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. I went to a fitness event a couple of months ago. I posted a reel on it. You guys probably saw it. I went to Ebony Fit Weekend, right? And they had vendors there who were selling athletic apparel, and they looked great. But I get my leggings and sports bras from Ross, where I can pay $7 for a pair of pants and maybe $5 for a sports bra. Why am I going to then spend $50 on your sports bra? Right? But that's just me. Mo Soulshine said, nope, not looking at the stitching. So Lululemon is essentially saying that Costco is trying to steal their swag. But I think that for the average person, athletic wear is athletic wear is athletic wear. Is there anybody here who is yes? Is there anybody here who is a who is very particular about their fitness gear? And I'm trying to think if I know anybody, and the only people I know who are dedicated to a specific brand of fitness gear, they're getting paid to sell it. Meaning they are, they're what you call that? They're an affiliate, they got a code, whatever. I'm going to Ross and getting 10 pieces of clothing for $30. I'm just kidding. But yeah. But how many of you guys think that Lululemon is going to be successful in this lawsuit against Costco? Is the stitching that Lululemon implements, is it unique enough to say, hey, this, they copied us. Mo Soulshine said, I just want a pocket and good support, right? And from what I've heard, Lululemon, while the price point is high, they got some problems. Didn't they have a problem? They were like see-through. They had to go and redo the whole thing. But listen, how many of you out here think that Lululemon is going to be successful in their lawsuit against Costco? Is this, special stitching enough? Should it be enough? Let me know what your thoughts are. Okay. Ooh. I'm hot, y'all. Okay, we got a few more stories. And then this is taking a lot longer than I thought. Y'all let me know if I'm going too long. I'm trying to keep it at an hour. Okay. So this person I'm pulling up, for those of us in my generation, not everybody might know her, but does anybody know who this rapper is? Let me pull it up here on StreamYard. If you don't know who this is Flo Milli. Okay. Flo Milli, she is originally from Alabama. She moved to Atlanta, but she's had some runners said exercising it's all sweaty and stinky. I'll take $10 gear anytime. Right. It's like I could understand paying hundreds of dollars for like a gown I'm wearing to some function. But some I'm just gonna get all crusty and dusty. But anyway. So moving on to this story. If you don't know who Flo Milli is, she is a rapper / singer. She had a breakout hit a couple of years ago called Never Lose Me. She raps about being in love with a Haitian. She just had a baby. And Never Lose Me was one of Flo Milli's biggest hits. It was like number 2 on the hip hop on the R&B charts for a while, right? And she's been doing great things. She did a couple of features with Megan Thee Stallion and Lotto, and I've seen her on different stuff. She's just doing her thing as a woman in the rap game. Like she has a song, what's that? Rocksteady with Megan. She goes, I ain't waiting for no, I ain't tense. Just anyway. So Flo Milli had her big hit, Never Lose Me. Tell me you ain't never wanna lose me. Tell me you ain't never wanna lose me. Right? And the beat for that song is at issue right now. Okay, so apparently the beat for Never Gonna Lose Me, it was created by a producer by the name of Jero Katana. Okay, now Jero Katana originally sold that beat to a Baltimore artist by the name of Shamar Deal. And when Shamar Deal purchased that beat, purchased it with a 10-year exclusivity clause, meaning he said, I'm buying this beat and you can't sell it to nobody for 10 years, or at least that's what was supposed to happen. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. Jero Katana apparently went around selling the beat to multiple people, and it ended up with Flo Milli, and there goes her breakout hit, right? So now Shamar is suing everybody under the sun. He's suing Flo Milli, he's suing Jero, he's suing Sony, he's suing whoever is involved with that track for $1 million. Okay, now again, the importance of contracts, right? Because I don't know who Shamar Deal is. Have you guys ever heard of the artist Shamar Deal? I haven't, and I don't live too far from Baltimore. I've never even heard of Jero Katana, right? But we don't have to know who these people are. All we need to see is that contract. And if we see in that contract that you, Jero Katana, weren't supposed to sell that beat to Flo Milli or whoever you sold it to, you're going to owe Mr. Shamar some money. And that means that Shamar is also going to be owed a piece of Never Lose Me, because it should have never been put out in the first place. This is why copyrights are important. This is why licensing is important, so that if somebody doesn't follow the rules, you have recourse, right? So Shamar Deal is looking for $1 million. I don't think Shamar is going to get $1 million, but I don't think he's going to get nothing. And, you know, he might end up with some type of credit on the songs that have the beat that he purchased the exclusivity contract for. But this is a very current example of, you know, there are so many people involved in the music industry now. It's really hard to keep track of things. And it's more important than ever that you have your legal paperwork together. Because of the internet, people can work across the world, not just across the street. Anybody can have your stuff. So have your paperwork in order, okay? All right. But good luck to Flo Milli. I enjoy her her brand of rap, and she is super pretty and chocolate. Good luck to her. Okay. Let's see. 7:52. I'm gonna go for like 8 more minutes, y'all. I just want to make it a full hour. My voice is starting to go. So this one, I didn't really want to talk about it, but I have to. So I don't know if you guys remember when Paramount Plus, they had an interview with Kamala Harris during the election. Well, y'all's president, he sued them. He sued Paramount for $16 million because he said that they doctored the interview, and they lied, and it caused damage to his reputation. I don't know how you damage the reputation of a 34 count felon, but go off. Anyway, so the Grand Cheeto sued Paramount for $16 million, saying, you hurt my fifis because you didn't make me look good in the interview. And apparently Paramount is about to pay him. Now, when I saw this, I was like, why are you, Paramount? You are a respected media house. Why would you do it? And then I learned that Paramount is about to merge with another large media house. And having this lawsuit around their neck could really damage that, right? So Paramount, they have settled with him for about $10 million. And, you know, they probably had to think about it in terms of what is going to help us more in the future, and can this stop us up? and having a lawsuit lodged against you by the elected president of the United States could, stop that. So listen, y'all know exactly what I'm thinking right now. Okay. But yeah, good luck, Paramount. So yes, I think we're actually going to leave it here. There were a lot of stories that I didn't realize were going to take so long. We talked about Dr. Phil suing TBN. We talked about Denmark. Why give in? Because they're about to merge with another huge media house that makes movies, right? So if you're going into, let's say it's two people going into business with each other, and one person finds out the other one has a big lawsuit behind them that's going to cost them a lot of money. Are you going to want to go into that business deal with them? All right. So we talked about excuse me, Dr. Phil and TBN. We talked about Trump suing Paramount and getting $10 million because they had a business deal on the line. We talked about Denmark's about to pass a law because to save people's faces because of AI. We had a discussion about whether Diddy can bounce back business-wise after these verdicts. We talked about Angel Reese taking the insults and the taunting that the fans have been launching at her and using it to make money by trademarking them. We talked about Lululemon suing Costco for knockoff activewear, and we talked about Flo Milli, the rapper, being sued for copyright infringement for her breakout hit Never Lose Me. Okay, so those were the stories that I wanted to share with you. I wanted to share a few more, but my voice is starting to go out, and I don't want to be raspy. So if you have any, do you guys have any questions or comments before we break for the night? If you have anything you wanted to ask but you didn't feel comfortable asking it during the live stream, you can always DM me. I am very responsive as well. Browner said it's Paramount. It's not like they're a bootleg company. All of these companies are just bending. Girl. Because you have to look at who's in that seat, who's in that top seat. Okay, who's at the top seat. But yes, so if you have any questions that you didn't ask during the show, please feel free to DM me. If you have any stories you want me to talk about next week, please send them to me. I love it when you send me stories. And if you are interested in starting your own business, if you are in that startup stage and you need some help, your girl is a business attorney. I give free 15-minute consultations. So use the link in my bio to book your free 15-minute consultation. Okay, so this is where I'm going to leave you. Everyone, take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful night. Thank you for tuning in. These will be up on Instagram and the other avenues. Feel free to share them with your friends. All right, good night. Okay.